Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant. I'd like to apologise now for my background. That will be getting improved. But welcome. It is 8:30 on Monday morning. As always, we are amongst the microphones talking all things news and insight. And as always, I'm joined today by my co-host, Mr. Aaron Patrick. Aaron, how are you and how was your week?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, but we need to dive straight into this unicorn background.
Unicorns made up of flowers.
You chose it, right? This is a purpose.
I asked for it to be installed, ready for me to move into my office. Yep. It's a choice.
But we don't get the weather update this way either, because before we got to see outside every now and again, the puppy walk past or your wife walk past, and we get to see are they wearing an umbrella or not. It was right, really insightful.
Weather update: overcast, grey, and drizzle, which is a relief after the weekend of heat.
Yeah, we would love to have that down here. Love that. Well, talk to us. How was the move? Are you all excited? Go for it.
Like, when you don't want to move house, when it's 27 degrees and all day, every day, like, it was hideous, and I wasn't even doing much moving around. Like, we had 5 movers in doing all the heavy lifting. I was just directing, but even just unpacking boxes, it was hideous. But no, we've broken the back of it. We're nearly there now. Not that my office will tell you that, but
that's going to be nice,
right? I've set up my workstation so I can get some work done today. I set up my podcasting webinar station so I could do this morning, and that was it. Like, the rest of the time has been kitchen, living room, etc. The important stuff.
Yeah.
No, it was all good. No hitches, no issues on the day. So,
what internet have you got there? Fast, not fast?
We're currently running on hotspots. EE will be installing in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be their 1.6 gigabyte connection. So hopefully it'll be all right.
And you got Ethernet to every room?
No, but maybe considering my office, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, no, it's bigger than the old space, which is nice. And so I'm going to have this podcast webinar set up, and the unicorns will be gone soon, and there'll be the soundproof slotted brown stuff that you see a lot of YouTubers using. That's really good for helping get rid of echoes. Some nice fluorescent lighting up there. Like, I've got an on-air light, a bit like the QuickBooks chap one behind you. So yeah, got all of that to do, and then from my workstation behind that will be bookshelves with everything on it. So yeah, all good.
And you've slashed your commute time as well.
And I've slashed the commute time, like that 10 meters gone. Like,
it's like F1 pit stops now, isn't it? We're not looking at milliseconds now.
Yeah, it's like when we do our bookkeeping processes, I'm not looking at saving hours anymore. I'm now looking at saving my seconds. But yeah, so yeah, no, it was a good move. All good. Lots of stuff to do, as always, when you move house, but we will sort that out. But of course, where would we be without our community? So let's go through. Kirsty, you lost the game, I'm afraid, because you sent yours through at 8:29. The first person to message today at 8:30 was Natasha, the bookkeeper superhero. Good morning to Kirsty and Natasha. Good morning to Cheryl, who came a very close second, followed by Paul in close third, followed by Stephanie, who came in fourth. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, Dave. Everyone, hope everyone had a sunny weekend. Unbelievably sunny. It was not the good weekend for me. Good morning to Clive over in Ireland. Paul says, lovely wallpaper. Yeah, I thought it was very me. And Kirsty says, unicorns are chilling. Say again, mate.
I swear you've just put it up for the show. You're like, right, I'm going to get my branding on point.
My office is actually going to be in a different room. It was blue with stars on the wall. But I thought this will be more of a conversation starter. So I'll build it all in here, take it all down and move it. Good morning to Juliet. And Paul says, always wondered how you get business class broadband fiber at home. That EE package is not business class. That EE package is just home class. I think EE kind of just gone above and beyond with their ultra fast broadband because they've realized everybody's using devices, right? If you've got a big family and they're all streaming on their phones, tablets, TVs, etc., throughout the house, you need good broadband nowadays. Because we've not got broadband, yeah, and because we haven't got broadband right in here at the moment, my robotic Hoover isn't working, my Alexas aren't working. Like there's so many things which that that won't work because it's not connected to the broadband. So yeah, no, I completely get why EE do the package they do, and I'm very grateful they do a package the size they do, so that I can do things like this without any issues.
Because I'm on a brand new estate, so you'd have think they'd have like abundance of like broadband connections, but like everywhere, you're limited to how much the exchange can actually put through, unless you have a business line, and then they seem to have unlimited. So I've had to have a business line. I've had to go down that route, even though we were like first 50 people on this estate, if that, like maybe even less than that. And by the time we came to kind of like sorting out broadband and stuff, it was already pretty much maxed out for the max speed. So we have to go on the bit, and it is such an expensive thing. I mean, I get 3G, 4G, 5G, whatever redundancy out of it. That's about it, right? You know, like the rest of it, you'll get the same speed, you'll get the same thing for, I imagine, a fraction of the price that you've got to pay if you're on a business line.
So I rang EE and said, look, moving house, I'm leaving it a bit last minute because things weren't confirmed. So I get you're not going to be able to do the switch in time. And no problems. We'll get you scheduled in. First one's this day. It's like fine. And we're going to send you out a backup dongle so that you can just run on 4G, 5G whilst you've not got it. And it's like, great. Okay. Didn't have to ask for it, not paying for it. It's just really good customer service.
Yeah.
EE have really impressed me of late with their customer service.
Well, they're backed by BT as well, aren't they now? So they're kind of best of both worlds, isn't it? So
yeah, definitely. If anything, it's BT that lets them down. So Kirsty says, went too early, clicked on the wrong screen. That's it. You were so close, Kirsty, so close. And Stephanie says, stealing my branding. Yeah, it's a tribute. It's a tribute. I'm not stealing them.
What is Steph's branding then? Because it's 0 blue hearts. when there's unicorns involved. we need to have a brand spreadsheet of everyone. Every one of our listeners need to send in their brand spreadsheet so we know. To keep
brand guidelines.
Yeah, brand guidelines.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so I'll be honest, folks. The news is a bit thin on the ground.
Come back, Tom, from holiday.
I mean, it looks like all the software providers have gone on holiday. There is news from TaxCalc. So TaxCalc have finished rolling out their summer release, which is so TaxCalc two major releases. They do the summer and the autumn. In the summer one, they release things like updates for all the tax brackets for 26, 27. Is that right? 25, 26? 25, 26. Yeah. So that you can do your what if planners, which is a absolutely fantastic tool for adding value to your tax return. So the way I use the what if planner in my firm is every client gets their tax return done by us. And then what we do is we do a what if planner, which is a couple of clicks of a button, generates a 2-page PDF, which projects based on the incomes that we've just declared. If that stays the same next year, this is what their tax bills are going to be like and their payments on accounts are going to be like. So all of a sudden we're being seen as proactive. because we've already projected what it's going to look like. Now, some years where there's no changes between tax brackets, they just go, oh, that's the same number. It's like, well, yeah, because there's no changes in tax brackets and tax rates. Other years, they go, oh, thank you. Now I understand what the impact of these changes are going to be. But what we then do is we send out the tax return, we send out the projection, so we're seen as proactive. And then we just say, look, if you've got a change of circumstances in this tax year, let us know. We'll have a chat. Granny passed away, we're renting out her flat. How does that impact on our tax return? Or I'm going to change how I earn my money. I'm going to earn less from a salary and take more from dividends. Can I see what that does for my tax return? We're able to then put those details, those changes into the what if planner, and it regenerates the tax calculation so that they've got another report to plan ahead. So we absolutely love the what if planner. So when the July release comes out, it's like, right, everybody on it, let's catch up. So that's out and up and running. They've released a new update to their e-signing tool as well to make it more secure. So you send out your e-signing link, and that goes into the email address. How do you know that person who's intended to get it has got that, is the one that opened that email? What you can now do with the tax calc e-sign is send a one-time password to the mobile phone number. So it's just another level of security, which is quite cool.
And with you guys having kind of joint resources now, is that something that you guys could look into as well?
Yeah, so what we're talking about, and I've done polls in the Facebook group in the past, is we're always going to have this freemium e-signing tool in Engager, which it's not to everyone's taste. And sometimes some people want a signature there where it says signature. I want initials where it says initials. I want date where it says date. Whereas we just go, look, this is the document. Have you read it and do you agree to it? And we put a cover sheet with all the metadata that you need in a court of law. But to do like the aesthetics of it, there is a reason HelloSign only do signing and DocuSign only do signing and charge you £30+ a month for the privilege, because it's extraordinarily hard work to maintain that data and to maintain that software. So our plan is to continue our freemium model, as it were, with the free e-signing tool, but then you will be able to use the e-signing tool that we've got in TaxCalc in Engager as well in the long run. So you can go, actually, this document I really need to see, like it's going to the bank or it's a charity or something like that. We need to see the signatures in the right place. So we're going to send that on the advanced e-signing tool, which will be a paper e-sign thing. But that would come with the one-time password and stuff as well.
Nice.
So yeah, it's all that kind of stuff that we're looking at the moment of, right, how do we give choice? Like, you can do it like this, and these are the pros and cons, and that's free. Or you can do it like this, and these are the pros and the cons, and that's paid for. So we're not removing any functionality. We're just bringing in more functionality and more choice.
Nice.
So yeah, and the TaxCalc MTD IT quarter filer is released as well. So they're now having people testing data going through that. So if you've got any clients on the MTD IT beta, you can now use TaxCalc for filing the quarterly returns.
Basically bridging, right? That's there.
Yeah, it's a bridging solution. Yeah. But my team actually raised a really interesting question with me the other day, and I couldn't argue with them. So they said, right, we understand why we have to file, why we need to know like 3 or 4 different MTD VAT filing solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we understand why we need to file free agent and free agent, QuickBooks and QuickBooks, 0 and 0, because they do all of the journals for us.
Yes.
That's an efficiency gain. Why do we need to know 4 different MTD IT filing solutions? What do you mean? Well, they aren't going to journal anything. It doesn't create a tax liability. It's just a data filing. So why can't we just learn one solution, aka TaxCalc MTD IT filing, and just plumb the numbers in? It's like, okay, we'll try it. We'll have a look at it. We'll test it. So yeah, like until there's a need for journaling, I don't see why you train someone in free solutions now.
Yeah,
It's a fairly logical argument, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. I think my only pushback, and again, it's not been built the way we were promised, right? Like the promise or the premise of MTD, it was your client's going to get real-time information about their tax position. You know, they're going to be able to have confidence in the solution. Like you were doing that what if plan in there. Love that idea. But in reality, we shouldn't be in that position that we need to do, unless it was like you were saying there, like they were changing from one to another. But if they got consistent income, they should already have a real good indication. Like the information's there. We're using cloud technology now. We're using real-time information, right? So my only pushback would be that in theory, the client should be able to log into their solution and they should have a really good understanding of what their position is going to be, right? If you're not filing within that solution, are you going to get that same information? We don't know at this point. That's the only thing I would say. But yeah, I definitely see the logic. And what's the time difference? I'd probably minimal, right? You'd export from one, especially with chat GPT these days, right? So much easier to convert data than it's ever been before. You can just set it up as a recurring or as a saved project. Here's your conversion file. Every time this file's dumped in, create it into here. You teach it once and done. And you could export any of them then, and they'll just make it tax calc friendly for you. And that's what gets submitted. So
my suggestion to them is you've already got a import trial balance from QuickBooks Zero, Free Agent, etc. in the accounts production tool. Let's take that. Let's put that into MTD it, pull that information in and map it for us based on previous mappings. Yeah. And then we just press file.
And then your next year end's done, isn't it? Is MTD it got that? Because this is my biggest frustration's not the right word, but I am like annoyed, I suppose, is more is going to be, because all of the solutions have basically got to rebuild their SA100 platform, right? And they've got to start. I think we'd all kind of considered, QuickBooks, Sage, Zero, they've all got to build them. That's fine. That was like part and parcel of it, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that your tax calcs, KPMs, tax filers, whatever, SA100 solution you're using, they've got to rebuild theirs. Are tax calc looking to do kind of like for like, or are they doing a different one? So things like importing directly from QuickBooks, Sage, whatever, is that actually possible?
It's too early for me to know. Like, I'm not involved in that side of stuff. So, like, in my high-level mind, in theory, as part of the setting up of the tax return, it asks, is this client MTD it? Or it already knows whether they're MTD it because it can see the previous quarters. At which point, it just focuses the information towards a different API. Like the same UI is there. It just goes, which API am I sending this to? The MTD or the standard government gateway one? So in theory, in my mind, and obviously I'm not a coder or anything, I've not looked at the MTD it product properly yet. It's on my list for this week, but all we're really doing is taking the same information and filing it to a different API calling point.
Be interesting to get feedback on that, because if that's the case, then tax calc's onto a massive winner. Because I know personally with my SA100 solution, there's a whole new module they've built, which is great because it's like it was an aging module anyway, right? So it needed that refresh, and actually a new lick of paint's a good thing. And they're looking at bringing in this new technology and they're trying to make it this. And like, I like the fact that this is pushing them to innovate and pushing them to go there. But at the same time, like from a practice point of view, all we want is it's the same product, but like you said, filing one way or the other, like everything else. And my fear is that a lot of them are just having to be enforced to build a whole new module from scratch.
Yeah,
which is going to be a nightmare for us, right? As a practice.
Because if you think back to when VAT MTD came out,
the
QuickBooks stage, there was no new module, right? The QuickBooks and the Zero screens didn't change or anything. You didn't go to one place for MTD and the other place for during that crossover period. You just told it, yeah, it's MTD, or no, it's not, and you pressed file, and it sent it to the right place.
Yeah.
So that's where my hope has come from. Is, well, we've already seen them do this for VAT, and it didn't require whole new modules. I don't understand why anyone needs to build a whole new module for this, and I'm happy to be proven wrong and to be educated on that. But I would assume that if it requires a whole new module, actually it's because the previous one wasn't able to do what it needed to do to distinguish between MTD or traditional. So yeah. Like when I look back at how it happened for MTD VAT, I assume the same working principles would be there for filing of MTD it during the crossover period. So
I guess the difference is, though, that you never needed to do quarterly submissions in that one, did you? So, and this is a whole new workflow. I'm defending them, but I'm guessing that's where this has come from.
I understand the quarterly filing part being new. That's new for everybody. We've got to build that out. But the actual filing of the annual tax return, like,
you'd want it to be the same, right? Like, that's for us as a practice. We want it to be like for like, or at least they both get updated at the same time. We don't want the worst scenario in which in my practice I have is if they're not MTD, they're on one platform. If they are MTD, they're on another platform. And suddenly I'm going, oh, this is going to, you straight away, you know, that's going to cause you issues, right? Like there's no way that's going to be a smooth situation. And you're going to have different workflows, and you're going to gather data differently. And there's going to be all sorts of problems reviewing them. You're going to have 2 different review packs. Like, it just compounds the issue, right?
Definitely.
And as we've always said on this channel, like, there's not enough skin on the bone for us to really build too much of a sophisticated solution for an MTD. But a lot of firms, and I don't blame them one bit, are going, I'm just not going to do MTD because it's just not working, right? Like, there's not enough meat on the bone for it.
A lot of people I've spoken to are using this as a reason to pull out of that part of the market.
Yeah.
They're going, you know what? Self-assessments are generally last minute, a load of hassle. People see no value in it. Like, they get upset when you charge too much. I mean, they get upset anytime. But, like, it's a low value, hard effort, and inefficient part of the industry to be in and service to offer. Because, you know, you've got to chase your clients for everything. Like, it's just not slick. So whilst there's softwares and solutions that are constantly working to improve that, a lot of people I've spoken to are just going, no, we're just using it as an excuse to bail out. We'll still do everything else, but if you want your personal tax return done, like, we'll do all the company stuff. If you want your personal tax return done, find someone else. And it's like, I can see why.
Yeah. But it's going to get complicated, right? Because you'd want to keep them if they're just dividends and salary, like, because that's using the same software you've always used, so you can continue to deliver that. But it's if they take on a rental property or whatever it is that triggers them over, you're just going to have to go, well, you've been an amazing client for the past 15 years, but bye. And that just seems ridiculous, right? Just because, but I don't know.
Each to their own. I mean, we all set up our businesses to run them how we want to. So
again, I don't blame anyone who's saying I'm just not going to get involved. I get it. Like, the amount of headaches we've already had, the amount of investment we've already had to do, and this is us. We're relatively small practice, right? Like, you times it by how many practices are out there, and it's just going to get worse, I think, before it gets any better, isn't it?
Yep, definitely. Kirsty says, first of all, Amy says, good morning. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning. Oh, also on Instagram, we've got flyhigher.finance says, morning, guys. Still sunny down south. Looking forward to some drizzle if it's heading this way.
No, we're keeping it. It's stuck in Scotland. We're reversing back to type. Kirsty says, I did my first 2 MTD it on QuickBooks and a bit confused as it said done but it's still offering me to press submit. Didn't show it had been done. It didn't show I had done one already. HMRC update according to Craig Oldville. So yeah, it's still in beta. It's still in testing. So these things are going to happen.
I believe it's intentional, though, isn't it? The button should go from done to update or something along those lines. So that it's very clear that you're just giving
resubmit
an update of that particular period if you want to.
Yeah.
But then again, now that it's cumulative, it's almost irrelevant if you put an update or not, right? So we'll see. We'll see how that UA kind of thing. But I think that's one of the reasons why definitely QuickBooks haven't gone and updated it anytime soon, is because they're still waiting to see exactly what is going to be the requirement for it. But the intention is that at any point you can go in and update. That is actually a good point, though, in terms of, because I'm going into overdrive now thinking, actually, is that the right thing? Is your team onto the right way of actually doing this? The only thing we'll need from our partners in terms of FMS solutions is they can't be as aggressive on sending reminders, updates in the product and everything else. Because the worst thing you want from your client is them to log into QuickBooks Zero, Free Agent, whatever, and it's saying, are you going to file this or not? You're late. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you didn't file in system, is it going to know that you filed elsewhere and then not?
Most of our clients don't log in.
True. Ones that do, you don't want to upset them, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want them feeling unconfident. You can go, no, I've submitted it via this other solution, but how do they know? I had that with ironically with a client once on Free Agent, where I filed everything for them. In my mind, they had a great service, a great thing. We turned it around in no time at all for them. Everything should have been fine, but they came in like, I think at first they put even a negative review on Google. Oh, they didn't file my accounts. I was like, we have it's on Company's House. It's like, no, but I went into Free Agent and it's not shown as not filed. It's like, yeah, because we don't use Free Agent to file it, right? Like that, and that's just for that, right? And they have to actively find that to go and get that confidence to go through from there.
Yeah.
Whereas the way that, and rightly so, the way it's been built, there's all these UI elements to it that are forcing the down their throat to the client. You've got X amount of days to go, blah blah blah, etc., and all this and the other. So it'd be interesting,
Yeah, you almost need two statuses, don't you? You need it to go, oh, it's filed within our product, or filed using another solution or something. Like,
but you almost, from a workflow point of view, don't want
like
that extra, right? You want it to go, oh, I've seen it's been filed through HMRC, so I don't need to keep chasing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you want. You want that MTD connection to be that sophisticated, which I don't think it is. But you want it to be that when it's received that update, it tells whatever solution's connected, chill, we've got it, we've got the update, everything's done, move on with your life, sort of thing.
It is that update. It is that sophisticated because we can pull VAT statuses from it. That's how they know. But I think also, though, there's a problem of, if you're Xero or QuickBooks or Free Agent, do you want to be like, you don't want to encourage people to file outside of your solutions. So why would they build it to mark it as filed?
Agreed, but there's certain situation where that's the only way you can do it, like properties and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like there are going to be times when you have to file for another one. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because I know from the beta that there is no update, like because that was my biggest criticism. I got to the end of the year, and because I was kicking the tires and forcing losses here and trying to put capital expenditure here, and I was trying to break it, right? I'm completely honest. Did I make up some of the numbers? Maybe I did, right? Like, but it was me filing on my behalf, right? But I got to the end of the year and I'd saved everything and everything else, but because the UI was changing all the time because it was the beta and everything else, I couldn't tell you what I'd filed and what I hadn't. And at that point, it wasn't cumulative as well, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to piece it all together so that I can correct it, so I can actually get the right figures in to my final tax return. So yeah, like I know back then they weren't getting that information. Wasn't because the information wasn't being stored. There was no way of extracting what those quarterly updates were. So unless it's, I guess all they need is that status, isn't it? That it's been done.
Yeah.
I'm sure from an MTD VAT point of view, you get more than that, right? Because it knows this is
Oh,
what's
you know,
filed, and this was the amount, and
they
the box, right?
amounts, everything. Yeah. So Kirsty says, I expect to see a submission log, like on Money Stuff, you can get a receipt. Yeah, that would make sense. Like you file a tax return, you get a submission receipt.
Yeah.
So,
And what if the clients filed it themselves? Like you need that feedback, right? And you need to be able to go in and go, right, okay,
yeah, like if a client's already filed it and you go to press file, but in a different solution or whatever you're doing, you need it to come back and go, oh, there's already one. Like, so if I file a tax return, a personal tax return in Tax Calc, I've literally a couple of weeks I had it where the client had already filed one. And he went, oh, there's already one here. Do you want to file this and mark it amended? So let me go check with that client. Let me go see what they're paying at. It turned out they'd missed tons of things, so we had to go and file an amended one. But yeah, like you need that API to be doing that sense check of that data for you.
Yeah. Because there's going to be so many scenarios where that's going to happen, right? What about if you've taken over a client halfway through the year? How do you know the old accountant has or hasn't filed? Like, they're the bits that we need to have coming in. They're the bits that, the whole premise of MTD making tax digital is that we, as the agent, we can get access to that. And at the moment, we don't. And that's my concern. I was naively thinking at this point, well, when I was in the beta back in the day, or the alpha as it was, I assumed all this was already ready, and I was just testing it to see if it was broken or not. It hadn't even been built yet, right? And it wasn't even available. So yeah, that's my concern about it.
Yeah, definitely. Paul says, my company is set up to service the small sole traders, 90% of our client base, so are preparing for an onslaught of new clients. Great attitude. There is opportunity in MTD.
Yeah.
If you go and do it, there is opportunity there. And Stephanie says, Zero Tax has got a marked as filed option. Ideal, but how much slicker would it be if that came in, if that automatically read it and marked it as filed based on the status from HMRC?
Yeah.
Like Engager calls up company's house every night and then notifies you in the morning going, these accounts are already filed. Do you want us to move the job on? Or same with confirmation statements? Like it gives you a reassurance and a bit of confidence.
And imagine we had that technology, and this is my argument I had with HMRC themselves on an article I did on ICAW. But imagine we had that technology with ICAW, like with MTD, because we should already let's not be around the bush. At this point in time, we should already have that with VAT.
But
there's
also,
no in this world where we shouldn't be getting, as an agent, updates to say, by the way, your VAT or that client's VAT has been filed. Would you like exactly the same workflow we have on Company's House?
In theory, that's possible. Here's the biggest problem with HMRC APIs, right? Is we're trusting our softwares to build out to the best level that they can using what's available to them. But if softwares did that, then why has no one ever built it so you can enter a code into the agent authorization for in your practice management tool until Engager did it? That's been there for decades.
Yeah.
If softwares did build out to the best APIs available, why did it take until Engager came along and did MTD, VAT, and agent authorization in product? That had been there for 5 years. But then on top of that, the next challenge is when you go to HMRC as a software and go, we've read your API documentation. We think we can do this. Can you confirm that that's possible? Because they have such a turnover of staff in different projects, they then have to go, oh, I don't know. And they end up going and reading the same documentation we've already read.
Yeah, yeah.
So the people at HMRC can't keep up with what their APIs can and can't do. So there's some blame there, but there's also blame. I think we're all a bit naive at time, and I'm very guilty of this. I assume softwares are doing the best for you and me possible using the APIs to the highest level. In the last 2 years, it's become extraordinarily clear to me that they're not. some are just doing the bare minimum, and that's not fair to us as the users.
No,
Because
that's true.
if they were using those APIs to the best standard possible, then entering agent code, authorization codes, MTD, IT, and VAT agent authorization, all of that would have been built years ago. Engager wouldn't be making waves there. We'd just be doing, everyone else has done it. We've got to do it. And it's only in doing that I've realized actually softwares can be quite lazy at times.
In fairness, though, the way you've kind of said to me in the past is HMRC's not made this easy. They've changed terminology, for example, right? And they've when terminology was X before and Y the other. We work in the industry, right? We've got a privilege of understanding to a point what that terminology is trying to mean. I'd imagine as a, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry for. If you are a developer who doesn't know the inside outs of it, I mean, you've got an amazing development team, and you and Andy and everyone else have been there, done there, got t-shirt, right? So when you're trying to kind of help your development team understand what that might mean and give them that sort of insight, and you've got Ash as well, right? Like you're almost built as a his first push of this is the problem, this is the pain point, this is why we haven't got there. And I just think other solutions aren't built like that, right? And they'll just look at it and go, well, it can't do, because that terminology used to mean this, and they won't know that now means this. And do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's been one of the biggest, and that's got to be the learning from HMRC, right? They have to keep it consistent. They want adoption of these APIs and everything else. The language has to be the same at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, look at the name of the thing itself. It's already gone from MTD ITSA to MTD IT.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely ludicrous. Right. So moving on from that, let's talk technology.
Get off that soapbox.
Yeah, we'll come off that soapbox, go on to another one. So a bit of community involvement, people. So get key fingers at the ready. Obviously, new office space, with or without the unicorns. What I'm curious about at the moment is, what is the best bit of tech equipment? What's the best thing you've got in your offices that you couldn't live without? So, I've got a lot of shiny tech here, but I'm always curious as to, because there's some really obvious stuff that you go, why didn't I even look at that before, when you see it on someone's photo or see them talking about it on LinkedIn? So yeah, stick it in the comments, guys. So Stephanie has said aircon. I am so jealous. Aircon fan. Yeah, after the last few days, definitely. I've got a fan that blows hot air around, but yeah. Cool. So Stephanie said aircon. Paul Whitehouse says currently the fan.
I was going to say, do you want me to go while they come in?
Yeah.
I think I would love to sit here and say you need to get yourself a Vision Pro, right? Because then you can get rid of all the stuff you've got, just have this plain room and off the races. But what I think you should go for and try and finally win this is an interactive screen behind, one that you can go up to with a pen, and because you've got the same camera as me, right, where it can follow you on a whiteboard and everything else. But imagine you're trying to, you're doing one of your Engager webinars or something, or you're doing some sort of and you can be interactive with it, and maybe put a thing like pointing to here and stuff like that. Like, the technology hasn't properly come. Do you remember Microsoft brought out the Surface? It was called the Surface, whatever. And basically, it was a big tablet on wheels. You could wheel it around, and you got the pen and all that sort of stuff. I would love you to find something that would work like that, because you've got the space now to really make it into something where you could go and be interactive with the training and doing like that. That's the one thing I've always this screen behind me. I love having it, great, but it's just a static screen, right, that just moves around. What I would love is to have that whiteboard-esque, but I'm never going to have a whiteboard. Whiteboards are not for me, but an interactive board just to go in and thing there. I think have a look what's out there, because I'm way behind on the latest innovations in that space. But I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I like that idea. That is quite a cool idea. And so you can have the website on there. You can just go circle here and handwritten. I mean, my handwriting's not awful, but yeah.
But you got AI to
very
fix that
cool
now,
idea.
right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Apple Notes corrects it all the time.
I don't know if you've seen it, but in the Apple Vision Pro world, there's that new Logitech Muse.
Yes.
And my video is not out yet, but on my video, I talk about how that could be the perfect reviewing tool in the world. Like, because that is one of the things the Vision Pro does really well. You get that PDF, you're right into it. You literally sat there, like you're living and breathing that document. So being able to kind of mark that and everything else could be potential.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Clive says, my Secret Labs Titan XL chair. You know what? A chair is so important. I've got a Hanusi thing. It's very comfortable, to be fair. It's one of the best chairs I've ever brought.
Have you not seen the McLaren one, though?
I have seen it.
Is it one that keeps popping up, is it? Did Steph ever get it? I think Steph was going to press buy at one point. I can't remember if she ever did or not.
But yeah. It's one of those many things that keeps popping up on Facebook ads like, you want one. I know, but I can't have one.
But where is the McLaren going to go anyway? Have you figured that out?
Oh, I've got shelving arriving. There's a huge IKEA delivery coming today. Like, I'm so glad IKEA do deliveries because there's no way we could get it all in the car. So yeah, this evening's going to be spent building IKEA. Natasha says, my Stream Deck or my Stranger Things Lite. What is a Stranger Things Lite? But Stream Decks, yeah, I've got one on both desks. My biggest headache with Stream Decks, right? And this is my fault. It's not the technology's fault. Habits and routines.
Yeah.
It's getting into the habit of using it instead of using the mouse. Like our behavioral training for years has been mouse and keyboard. So it's like learning shortcuts. Like you've got to get into the behavior of doing it and the routine of doing it before it then works out. So yeah, no, I've got a Stream Deck on both desks. The one on this desk is the Stream Deck with the twisty knobs on it, which helps with editing and stuff a bit. The other one's just a 32 button one, which is great for all my web links and stuff. I've just got to get into the habit of using them properly.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a miss. Maybe it's because we're in Mac land, right? Because if I plug this into the PC, I get so many more options. Like Macs are notorious for being very secure and everything else. They don't like these systems playing around and having all these options, right? But I love my Stream Deck, should I say? And I love the fact that we're just missing out on so much more functionality the PC has. Like the PC is just given so much use to it. Yeah, it's just frustrating me a little bit because I look at it and I go, yeah, I'd love to do. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. So yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it gets better for us.
Yeah. Steph says old school whiteboard like we had in school. Right. So you know what? You know when you look back at life and you go, actually, I was quite privileged to be there at that time, right? So I was in primary school before we got our first computer lab, which was just a room full of computers. But in the time I was at school, I literally went from blackboards and chalk through to whiteboards,
which
to the little overhead projectors with the marker pens on the see-through. Yeah. Through to like electronic whiteboards where you couldn't project you couldn't put on there like a website or anything, but you could annotate, you could use bold markers and stuff like that. It's like that journey of technology from a blackboard and chalk to those interactive boards, all of that in the time that I was at school. That's quite cool.
Yeah,
like to see
imagine
that journey.
What it's like now, right? Like, imagine what that room would look like now.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have that room of desks with that one room, or if you went to a particularly good school, you might have had 2 classrooms full of computers. But now, yeah, who knows I haven't got a clue. But yeah, like I felt quite, in hindsight, I feel quite privileged to have seen that improvement of technology through that period of time. in such a short period of time as well. Anyway, back off my trip down memory lane.
So this is an interesting idea, project, because you could have an Apple TV in your iPad.
Yep.
And you could project the Apple TV onto the projector. There's something about being interactive though, isn't it? And actually having a pen, going up to it, like you said there, like annotate it, put a line on it.
And the thing is, if I'm going to get a projector, I could do that, but do I need it when it's just me in this office?
It's almost a waste, isn't it?
Am I better off having a Vision Pro, which I put on as I walk into this office, and I've got my interactive whiteboard there. I've got clocks on the wall. I've got press that wall to start the music, and like it's a lot less clutter just to have that. I mean, I'd want like an arm coming down from the ceiling as I walk in, like Wallace and Gromit style, putting it on my head. But
I mean, why are you going that far? Why don't you have it so the bed drops you in? Like we're talking about trying to make your
there's no gravity through because it's across the wall. I'd need like a spring-loaded piston just to fire me through.
And then make sure it's the right side of the bed, otherwise you're in serious trouble.
All sorts of trouble.
It's you and your dog flying through, and not you and the wife.
So yeah, I do like the idea of a projector, but I think Vision Pro now top trumps that. I think.
Yeah.
Paul says my Stream Deck is the most underused device I have. The concept is brilliant, isn't it? But it's that behavioural change. I was talking to who is the gentleman that produces the digital accountancy Digitals for an Accrual World podcast. Is it Lee?
Oh yeah, Lee. Yeah.
So he reached out over the weekend asking, "Oh, do you still use your Claude note taker and stuff?" It's like, "I do." He's like, "Oh, is it worth it?" I said, "It's an amazing bit of kit, but you've got to get into the habit and the routine of pressing record and pressing stop. Like otherwise, it's pointless." So yeah, it all comes back with any piece of technology these days. It's coming back to changing our ways, our routines, our behaviors to incorporate it and to become a habit, basically, isn't it? Like we've got to get into the habit of going, oh no, instead of going open a new tab and typing in an address or clicking on bookmarks, I need to press this button here. Logically, makes complete sense just to press this button here. But getting out of that old behavior and habit into the new one is a real challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I've got 3 Steam Decks and a Loop Deck now. So, yeah, I've tried.
And you've not changed your habit.
Yeah. I mean, the only time it becomes essential for me is that about to record. Like I have it set up so my recording software pops up, my mouse pops up, and it changes the lighting and everything else. I got that. So that's the bit where, like you said, you've set yourself to get into that habit. But then I didn't really have a habit before of doing any other way. So it was like that was always my habit, right? It's record time, clicking on the buttons, going to this thing, do, and that was it. So it gets used for that constantly. But again, it's that little bit frustrating that I just feel like as a Mac user, we don't get quite as much use out of it, which is always a shame, right? Because I even got the and this is one you might want to look into actually, the Elgato talkie thingy screen teleprompter. Yeah, because
I keep getting mixed reviews.
I love it. The only problem I had is I went for, again, because we're a Mac user, I went for the Pro camera module, so it was all in one. I didn't have to keep messing around with it. And that Pro camera is not good on a Mac. It just doesn't like it. Yeah, it constantly doesn't. It can't focus properly and all sorts of stuff. So there's a conflict happening there. But when it's up and running, it's working. I love that piece of kit. Absolutely brilliant. And that's where the Elgato Stream Deck is really, really useful, because you get all those controls on it and all that sort of stuff that you can go with it and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Stephanie, I have a gaming chair with pull-out footstool and massage cushion. So that thing's got a pull-out stool, but I can never get comfortable on it. Like that footrest.
I don't understand that one. I get it on a sofa, like love it. Like I can't now sit on the sofa without one of those, right? Like
I have to be reclined on the sofa, but
but as a work chair, I can't figure it out myself. Yeah, same.
Yeah. Natasha says the Stranger Things light is from the Netflix show. It just lights up my desk and looks awesome. And
Nice.
you've got to enjoy where you're working, don't you? So yeah, things like lighting is important. Not work related, but I do love my Azeron Cyborg controller. What does that do, Paul?
I'm assuming it's a gaming controller. I'm assuming.
Yeah. I ain't got time for gaming. Oh, my neck. That must be nice.
This week, because we've got no Formula One, I was like, and my wife's on holiday. I was like, well, what do I do with myself? Like, it's a Sunday.
You should have come to Scotland and helped me.
I would have done, to be fair. But what I did, got my racing sim out, so I just raced Formula One instead.
You got you fixed somehow.
Yeah. And actually, they do the Formula One. Have you seen the Formula One movie yet?
No. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, really, really good. And they've got a whole dedicated bit about the movie. It was really cool.
Brilliant. It's on the list. We'll go and do that. Stephanie also agrees she just can't get on with Stream Deck. Old school favorites bar for me. Yeah, and like, I do everything in Safari, so the fact that I click new tab and I've got all those thumbnails of everything, it's just like it's not that inefficient. So
they have brought out a virtual Elgato now, haven't they? If you own one of the pieces of kit, you now get to bring the virtual one up. So with OpenAI and everything else, that might catch on. Like that might be something that's a little bit more, if there's like a mundane task, I don't know, updating your AML record or something, like when you're having to do the same button press each and every time, maybe that's something that'd be worthwhile. Like, could you set it so that every time that you've reviewed a piece of work, you click the button and it'll just populate your reviewed by AHP or whatever in the thing. Like they're the little wins you want to work, isn't it?
Definitely. And Stephanie says non-work related, but I love my 1-2 Lando Norris helmet.
Well, you're gonna have to find something to make it yours, right? Like,
yeah,
we're already missing the fish. For all we know, the fish never made it.
No, you know what? Good news. The fish made it. They're now in my dining room.
Oh, that's nice. So, I mean, we as the audience don't get to see the fish anymore. You've deprived us.
Do I need to set up a fish cam?
Fish cam. I think there's got to be a fish cam. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was expecting, rough, choppy times with the fish, but no, they all made it. Did very well. Very pleased. But yeah, things like the Lando Norris helmet. Like I love my McLaren car and my R2D2 Lego. Sorely tempted to get that huge Millennium Vulcan Lego model now.
Do it.
Just because I've got enough floor space for it. I'm not sure how I'm going to display it on the wall, but
does it have to be on the wall? Mine's in the coffee table, so I've got a coffee table with a glass thing and it's in there. Yeah,
that's quite cool.
We can spend your money, and don't you worry about that. Like as a community, we can all come together. I'll tell you, Formula One related though. Those new Lego mini ones. I'm not built it yet, but I've got every team and like this massive starting grid that you can hang on the wall, and then you can put each one on there.
Oh, fantastic! I look forward to seeing the
McLaren goes top, then Mercedes, then Williams.
We've not even discussed the fact that Horner got sacked.
I know, right? Yeah.
I mean, interesting times in F1, that is for sure. So yeah, and Kirsty says, "Do it, Lego for the win." Definitely, Lego in the office. It's always a good conversation starter as well. When you jump onto a Teams call or something where you've not met the person before or anything, they always go, "Oh, that's quite cool. How long did it take you to build that?" And yeah, I do like a bit of Lego for an icebreaker. Like keep your daft games to yourself and icebreaker challenges. Like just have a bit of Lego on the wall, that'll do it. But yeah. Right. Well, we're coming up to the end of the show. Thank you everyone for your input there. It's highlighted I need to get better at habits with my Stream Deck, and I need to invest more in Lego. So that was a winning topic for me. Thank you very much. And it was suggested by the community on the podcast, so that means I basically get approval instantly by the wife, right? Like
Yeah.
the community said I had to.
Wife approval, and sure, HMRC will accept it as a tax write-off now as well. That's how it
Yes.
works, right? That's,
Yeah, it's business deduction. Right. Final bit of news from us, as you probably expected, but we will be in Manchester in September for Manchester Accountex Summit North. Is that what it's called officially?
I believe that's the official name, isn't it?
Yeah, but we will be Accountex Manchester, as we will call it and know it by, in September. Aaron, you'll be podcasting and doing a load of podcast pit stops.
Yep.
Have we got any spaces left?
We have still space left, but we've also got a lot of them already filled. So if you are interested, get in touch with us and we'll get you on the list.
Definitely. Remember, though, if you've already had one, you're done. That's it. You can't have a second. The idea of the podcast pit stop is really, A, to highlight some different softwares and stuff, but mainly to give accountants and bookkeepers a friendly environment and a supportive environment to do their first podcast, to see if it's something they want to do. So that was the reason behind creating it, wasn't it? Originally, was to give people the opportunity to get involved in stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you've got work friends, work colleagues, anything like that you think will enjoy having their first podcast, then get in touch.
They really should be in front of a microphone on a camera. Then get them invited. And Dave says he's got his tickets booked for Manchester already. Fantastic. It's going to be a good show. I mean, was it 3,500 people in one day last year? It was crazy busy. Not sure how they're going to trump that. But of course, we will be there to do the grid walk. That's what I was thinking of.
Very well.
To go around, see what's going on, see what the latest news and insights are, as per normal. So we are very much looking forward to getting back on the road and heading to one of our favourite haunts, that is.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a hotel sorted, haven't we? Oh, well, have you got yours? Me and Lizzie have got ours sorted. Good.
We won't disclose where we're staying yet until I've booked my room.
Influx and you miss out. But no, that's our favourite. We're trying to figure out if we can sort out We Have Cool Friends as well. So if you're interested in a We Have Cool Friends episode, we're thinking the day after a very cool location that we've got in mind. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we can get it to work though, because we've not done any Cool Friends this year, have we?
No, I don't think we filmed any this year. It's just been one of those years, hasn't it, where we're always busy.
Yeah, I think we have cool locations set, so more info on that coming your way. But yes, there is a potential for cool locations. All done,
definitely. Cool. Aaron, what have you got coming up this week? Where are you gallivanting to?
London again, as always. Off to London on Tuesday, over till Wednesday. And then back in London again on the weekend to go watch the boxing, and then back in London the weekend after to go watch Never Mind the Buzzcocks, and then back in London the weekend after that. So yeah, basically living in London. So that's my year. Other than unpacking, what's on your agenda?
So unpacking and starting to sort things out and get organised. I'm at home all week, which will be nice. That means I can get a bit of unpacking done.
I assume you did that on purpose.
Yes, kept that diary clear. And then I think just at home. Then there may be a new addition in the form of a new dog next weekend.
Oh,
so we're going to rehome a German Shepherd. So Tansy has a younger brother who has failed his training as a guide dog because he doesn't like vets. We met him a couple of weeks ago. Tansy and he got on very, very well. So we're going to go and pick him up on Saturday and bring him home.
Amazing.
I'll
make sure you give us updates on social about.
Oh, there'll be photos. Don't you worry. He's a handsome boy. Very photogenic.
It's all back again.
That's my week, unpacking and then going to get a new dog. So exciting time.
What a week ahead. Very jealous. Very jealous. Not the unpacking actually. Can't think of anything worse. But
No. But yeah, so that's my week ahead. So thank you as always, guys, for joining us and all your input in the community, in the chat. I'm going to have to go and review what I do with a Stream Deck and work out how I can get into the habit of using it better.
Well, I think that's a Ask the Accountant watch series episode coming up, isn't it? Of how we use our Stream Deck.
Definitely. Yeah, along with how we use AI, we need to do that as well at some point.
It's on the card. The watch series has finally got its logo, so keep an eye on that. People, keep an eye out for it.
Good. Brilliant. Well, we will see you all here this time next week for yet another episode of Ask the Accountant.
And hopefully we have some news next week.
Hopefully some news. Otherwise, we're going to have to deep dive into Aaron's office setup or something.
Brilliant. All right, everyone. It's a bye from me.
And a bye-bye from me.